Sup with it, guys, you got FLEXLYMPICS here, and I am back again for something a little bit different, and here we have the FLEXLYMPICS. Now this isn't a video that's supposed to be taken seriously or anything, but basically what's happening is that my boy AZ here got matched up against me in 2 leagues today. He got matched up against me in RDL, with a side of the draft league. Kind of a meme league that I'm not really taking seriously, and also MSPL, which is basically just a smoking scene. Doesn't really have any impact, so thought I'd have a little bit of fun with this one. So as we can see right here, we've got the draft league. This league allowed Lele for some god unknown reason, do not ask. But regardless, we have it, it's here, we are here, it's time. So I'm going to lead with my Exadrill here, expecting the obvious Galvantula Webs lead or something else to try to set up some hazards. And he's going to lead with his Tentacles, so immediately expecting that he's either going to want to go Mudsdale or Latias to take my Earthquake. I'm going to go right into Decidueye, put on a lot of pressure, set up the SD, flex on this man. Leaf Blade's going to do about 50% here as he roars me out and gets the Lele. I expect that he'll want to go into either his Latias or his Tentacruel here to try to gain some momentum on like a 50-50 play, and I was like, no, I'm not having any of that. I'm not risking 50-50s and losing all my momentum. I'm just going to make the play. Switch into Sharpedo. Unfortunately, he goes Cavalier into Zacket. It definitely died to a Psychic, so that's regardless. I switch out to Decidueye on the close combat. It's too easy. And then I double again into Machamp on the Taunt. It's that easy for me. And then, oof, Facades on the Latias. Easy. It's just so free. Now I can go into Sharpedo on the Roost. Obvious Roost here. Put on a lot of pressure, but nope. Fucking back into Machamp on the Reflect type, which is some interesting prep there. But then he Psychics me for 55% as I just put on the Toxic. Try to wear this down, and then I go into Exadrill to take the next Psychic or Draco. Didn't want to risk Sharpedo on a Draco there. And then he goes into Mudsdale as I just get up my rocks this time and go back into Machamp on his rocks. Just click Encore to lock him into rocks. The flexest of moves right there. You know I'm packing the heat with the Facade coming through to just get some chip on this for whatever else I want to use. And then he goes into Galvantula to die in 1 to close combat here. And then I believe he goes into Tentacruel. I'm not trying to let him spin, I go right into Decidueye, and he predicts that and goes for Sludge Wave. I'm not trying to die, so I'm just going to sack off the Champ. I still block the spin, and he just Sludge Waves again, and now I go into Lele and claim a kill. He goes into Cavalier once again. I expected that he'll go back into it this time since he went the first time, so I just click Psychic. He goes into Type Null, once again just dies to a Psychic. And now he goes Latias Mega, which roosts up only to get 2 KO'd by Moonblast. I assume he thought I was some kind of choice variant, but then he just Psychics for 19% before dropping. And now he goes into his offensive Tentacruel. I go into Exadrill, predicting the Sludge Wave with ease. And then I go hard into Sharpedo on the Scald. Once again, making only the best plays possible. Take 52%, and then how to choke a game in 1 easy step. Forget that you're adamant Sharpedo. I do not know what I was thinking there. I thought I was jolly because I'm bad and don't use Sharpedo, but I did have Protect. I chose to not click Protect. Keep in mind, these plays were going by 5 seconds. It's the FLEXLYMPICS. I'm not trying to think. I'm not trying to look at my sets or anything like that. So, just went ahead. Sometimes you just gotta fuck up and get swept 5-0 by a fucking offensive Tentacruel. So, this game was pretty solid, but then kind of turned to arse cheek at the very end. Pretty dog shit here. Definitely got fucking blown away by an offensive Tentacruel. Not my best showing at the end there, but regardless, we move on to game 2 here. and this one is in Gen 6 OU, the GOAT tier. Looking at the matchup, I brought some bullshit ass HO with a spike stacking Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn's my typical lead because I want to try to get my spikes up usually as fast as possible. I chose to go Ferrothorn over like some of the other options like Scolipede or Skarmory or whatever as my lead, because Ferrothorn's a lot more versatile. It can do a lot more than just spike stack. As a suicide lead, it's got a lot more value into the late game if I choose to not sack it, which other options don't have quite so much. Skarmory can to an extent, but I really like Ferrothorn for having another like water resist and like Metagross check and stuff like that, so I thought it was better to go with the Ferrothorn on this team, but usually I'll just want to be sacking off early. So looking at his team, he's super weak to Azu if Azu leads. His likely leads are Landorus or Heatran typically, so I think that Azu would threaten both of those a lot, to the point that he would want to lead something else. He might lead Landorus because it's Scarf and can take an Aqua Jet and then pivot out, or he might lead with like the Metagross or the Jellicent to just put some early pressure onto the Azu. But so I want to lead Ferrothorn and try to get my spikes up as soon as possible, but he in fact leads Heatran, which puts me really on the back foot. So I go Talonflame here. The reason why I go Talonflame over Latios or Azu is because I don't want either of them taking a Toxic at this point in the game. Talonflame is by far my most expendable Pokemon because he has the Heatran to come in. He's got the Scarf Landorus, and Jellicent can take the fire moves while Metagross takes the flying moves, so Talonflame doesn't have a lot of value this game. I was hoping that he would go for a Lava Plume immediately, or a Toxic to punish the switch, but obviously Rocks makes so much sense too. But now I want to go into Latios to threaten a Defog, and he just goes for a Toxic here, which makes sense. So knowing that I went into Latios rather than say Azu here, I'm trying to threaten the Defog here, make him want to set up Rocks again. In theory, Heatran walls Latios, so he should know that I'm just trying to defog. So that was my thought process going into this play, so that I could click Surf and try to catch him off guard as he goes for Rocks again. But he makes a good play, he scouts for that, goes into Jellicent, so takes some Toxics. I'm really on the back foot at this point. Rocks are up, I'm taking Toxic damage, so I go into my Ferrothorn here, and unfortunately he gets the Skull Burn. Now, he does have Will-O-Wisp, I talked to him after the game, but this burn really sucks because I could have played some 50-50s between Taunt or Wisping / switching out into Heatran. Because I'm burnt, Power Whip does not threaten him really much at all, so I can't scare him out and give me the spikes. But regardless, I do go for the spikes here. I want to I'm so far on the back foot, I was kind of just hoping that he would choke and go into Heatran or something, being still scared, or not pack the Taunt. It was kind of a desperation play there. I could have gone into something else, but I chose not to. I go into Azu here because I figured he would switch at that point, he's not doing anything else, and I throw in the Hydreigon. He goes into it, and he decides to stay in to Flash Cannon me. Not sure why, I guess he was skewing Belly Drum, but I just Waterfall him for a big chunk of damage, and then knowing that he will go Jellicent because I was banded, I go into the Ferrothorn and try to pivot, and then knowing that he'll likely want to Taunt, I go into Thundurus, but he actually switches to Heatran this time, which is a bit weird to me, but he does do that. I just want to go for a Focus Blast here because Heatran's the biggest issue in my team right now. Got a pivot for Landorus. So now I go into Ferrothorn as he knocks off. So that's just barely a 2 KO with the burn damage, but I'm getting some nice chip on him. I can set up a Leech Seed here because that 23% was actually a max roll. But unfortunately I missed the Leech Seed, and that's really important because Leech Seed would have allowed me to live that burn, get an extra 12% off on him, and then an extra 12% from Iron Barbs, which would inevitably put him in range of Bullet Punch. So I go into Azu to throw in the Aqua Jet and just play rough to kill the Jellicent now, get some momentum back. Now he's going to go into his Metagross, and obviously I'm walled if I'm looking to play rough, so he goes for the Pursuit, which was quite an interesting choice here. and I go into the Talonflame. I want to threaten this with the FLEXLYMPICS, and then I double back into Azu, expecting him to go into the Heatran. And then I go for a Waterfall, hoping that this is slow. If this Heatran was max speed, which it turns out to be, I figured he would fear the Aqua Jet chip a lot more because he doesn't have the same amount of bulk needed to really take the hit very well. So I decided I would go for Waterfall to try to get some damage off on switch in, because if he's fast I would think he'd switch out, and if he's slow obviously he would be outsped. And I would have thought he would have gone into like Hydreigon, since Hydreigon doesn't do that much anymore, but he is fast and he decides to stay in the Lava Flow and knock me out. So I just go into Latios now, and pretty telegraphed that I'm Surf. He already knows that I'm Surf, but I'm just going to Surf anyway. He does a pretty good chunk to Metagross, 45% of the roll. Yeah, I know he's got Pursuit. He goes for a Zen Headbutt, that miss didn't matter at all. I lived the hit, and then Surf, and 52%, that's near max roll, and then he just Pursuits this time and wins the second tie. I am max speed obviously, so winning that tie really was quite a pain for me. I go for a Roost here because I figured he'd want to like Bullet Punch fearing Flare Blitz potentially, or something, and now he crit me with Bullet Punch, and that's also really bad for me. It doesn't look like significant damage. I didn't Roost there because Zen Headbutt would kill me, and but that crit means that I died to recoil from Brave Bird. I would have barely lived otherwise, and then I could heal up on the Heatran or get a hefty hit on either the Landorus or Keldeo. So I now go into Thundurus because Metagross would just get Earthquake. I double into Metagross, expecting some edge or something. He goes for the knockoff, which I avoided to a KO for. I go for Meteor Mash, that's my best play. I set some Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch, Hammer Arm, and Ice Punch. So Meteor Mash gave me the best chance of winning there. I knew he wouldn't stay in, because if he stayed in and lost his Landorus, then he would have lost to the Thundurus in the back. So I had to keep the Landorus, and Meteor Mash killed it anyway. So I do 37% to it, and then I go for the Hammer Arm, and it lives on 2%. So those are rolls. If I got a better roll, I would have had a chance to win, but unfortunately, that's Pokemon. A lot of bad stuff happened this game, as you can see, and yeah, managed to pick up the kill with Thundurus in the end, but Scarf Landorus is going to clean up, and even if it didn't, I can't take enough life or damage anyway. So in the end, I lost the FLEXLYMPICS 2-0 despite flexing way harder than AZ did with his trash-ass plays, but that's another story. Both games were pretty solid. The first game was a lot better in my opinion. I was kind of burnt out after the first one, if I'm being honest, but yeah, I had fun regardless. It was a great couple games. AZ's definitely a solid player, so I really enjoyed fighting him. So yeah, probably won't do something like this again, but stay tuned to my next week ASL game, because I actually play AZ in that one again, so should be fun. See you guys next time. Bye.